Alrighty guys, welcome to a very gloomy day today, right here on some Napoleon Total War multiplayer battle. This is our gamer does random, excuse me, Patriot does random, and today we will actually give you another awesome, and this is a really awesomely epic battle here. And just before I'll actually get to that, I should actually get into the army composition. So let me just get rid of this map over here. So, as of today, I am actually leading the Prussian army. And let's get to my composition. As of right now, I actually decided to do something. And once again, I will go back to the lesson of quantity versus quality. So yes, I actually have two Landweers, and most of I have one, two, three, four. And then I believe you are 5 and number 6. Nope. I got 5 Landweers, which are basically militias, but I have upgraded them heavily if you actually pay attention to their chevrons on top of them. And then on top of that, I also have I believe I have like 2 musketeers, which are basically line infantry in terms of Napoleon Total War, of course. And then, meanwhile, I also have some 4 foot guards, which will be the elite, which I'm going to actually keep them in reserves for later. So, yep. Meanwhile, I also have some cuirassiers, 3 of them in total, and I also have some hussars, and I believe I have 3 hussars over here. Or no, I guess that's pretty much it. And then we got Patriot over here marching along with the rest of the army. So, meanwhile, over here we have a large heavy-based infantry contingency from my opponent. As you can see, they went for 1, 2, 3, and 4 chasseurs. I believe the 4th one may be another chasseur. Oh no, those are Swiss foots. But yes, my opponent has a lot of mixed units, but most of them are heavenly elite. And yes, on top of that, he has 2 old guards, and I believe he has a couple of Fusilier line, and he has a DLC unit, which is the 18th Regiment d'Infanterie de Ligny. I apologize if I mispronounced that, but they are pretty much called the Brave, which I'm going to assume they actually have to be like an elite unit, basically. And then, meanwhile, over here we have a couple of Polish Legion, but I can't see due to the fact of the forest. So I apologize if I can't exactly get the exact infantries here. And then, meanwhile, we also have some Lancers, 3 Lancers in total. But yes, other than that, his infantry is very heavily based off, of course, and we're gonna hit play because as I was slowing it down, everything just went extremely fast. And this battle, I will say, is really bloody, okay? Which is why I'm gonna say I might actually name it the Battle of a Bloody Hilltop Down. And why I say down, well, you'll eventually figure that out very soon. So as of right now, but yeah, this map, Prussian Hills, over here is basically there's just this huge hilltop that if you can actually be able to go over through it, but like honestly, it is a nasty choke point to being in. And of course, my opponent is gonna play it very aggressively, and likewise on my end, I try to actually push up, but much more carefully. However, he's gonna push up all of his own guys up across the hilltop, so he will eventually, well, yeah, spoiler alert, he's gonna actually take the hill due to my cautiousness. But of course, just because it's gonna be a cautious mobility doesn't mean that it's gonna be a very how do I say this? Not so much clean. So as you can see right now, my opponent is actually pushing up his own guys, literally rushing them all the way on top of the hilltop. But of course, what's going to change all of that is that my number one problem was that I kind of did left my landwehr a little on the columns formation, which I should have actually been spraying them, but I was a little too hesitant, which is pretty unfortunate. But anyways, so yeah, seeing an opportunity that skirmishing infantry is way too close to my cavalry, I decided to take the risk in pushing all the way up, if that's what it takes to taking down at least a couple of his own infantry, because based on cavalry, my opponent does actually outnumber me in terms of infantry, so I want to actually knock out these skirmishing units as much as possible. So let's get this awesome close-up. Oh man, the nasty screams coming by. So yeah, I completely caught my opponent off guard in terms of his own skirmishing infantry, which I do believe they're going to eventually rout. And then meanwhile over here, I got some more waves of cavalry going to push up, and they're going to kill more. They're going to completely jump my entire guy. So yeah, if you just go to their own point of view, they're going to be like, okay, we're going to actually push up. This shouldn't be a problem. But then, holy crap! Well, I did not see this coming. So yeah, here comes an entire cavalry charge just rolling by through them. But of course, a couple of them are going to react, and they're going to get into square formation. And then all of a sudden, there comes a huge, nasty cavalry charge. Just all of a sudden, catching this center flank completely off guard. And now there's just bloody battle going on everywhere, and as quickly as possible I hope that I can get my landwehrs into position. Meanwhile over here I did make a nasty mistake due to terrible micromanagement. I was actually too focused on the center, and also on top of that my opponent did make another dirty move because I did place my cavalry over here, but once again due to terrible micromanagement, he actually took advantage and then sprayed his own trap with his own lancers. Therefore, only one of my couple of cavalry ended up coming out of there alive. Of course, a couple of my own landwehrs are trying to support a couple of my own guys, but in the end, the raid will actually be somewhat successful. Actually, I'll take that back. It was actually pretty successful, considering that he killed a lot of my good cavalry contingency, yes, of my hussars. But yeah, as of right now, my opponent has finally managed to find a way to stabilizing their own position using square formation, which is very effective against cavalry. And with the square formation, they're basically going to end up destroying my entire cavalry contingency, which are cuirassiers, which they are the heavy hitters of the cavalry force. But of course, the attack that I have done was nasty. So as far as it goes, there's just nasty firefight coming down, which is why I say this is not going to be any regular battles that I've already came by, of course, because obviously this is going to be by far one of the most bloodiest battles you're going to see in my channel. And I might actually leave it as the highlight of one of my really epic multiplayer battles indeed. Maybe a new playlist, so no, that's actually a thought. So anyways, so yeah, it's at this point that my opponent's square formation is pretty much doing their work, and they've ended up routing my own cavalry. And on top of that, my own landwehrs are going to rout in a very terrible position. Well, somewhat terrible line of sight, but of course my opponent is going to just straight up charge in, and then they're going to kill my landwehrs, and really they're going to rout, unfortunately. Anyways, so yeah, my enemies ended up successfully killing most of my cavalry, and then I just readjusted these landwehrs. And now they're going to take their shots over here. But of course, it's at this point that my entire front, my center, and my right flank has collapsed. And I'm trying to actually retreating these guys, but of course they're going to end up getting shot off by my opponent's snipers, which is why I really wanted to get rid of them as much as possible. But yes, indeed, unfortunately, of course, my opponent ended up taking this entire hilltop through large, nasty numbers. So this will actually come in favor for my opponent. But of course, there is a little trick that I did have up my sleeves, because really, in all honesty, I wanted the Landweers to actually take the heavy hits as much as possible. Anyways, seeing as though my opponent is literally going to go all out with that cavalry charge, I'm going to actually move in my foot guards to push up and see if we can get a couple of pot shots. Hopefully they can at least sprint. I really do hope so. But anyways, meanwhile, I'm going to actually take advantage of the forest terrain. And of course, the part that I actually mentioned, that this is going to be the Battle of Hilltop downhill, is real. This is really where the real battle is gonna come by. So anyways, it's pretty clear that my own guys are falling back, and then I do have a couple of my own guys still retreating, but now I'm finally going to order these Landweers to hold their ground here in the forest, because terrains here can definitely give you quite an advantage in each of the fighting. So anyways, meanwhile, after such a nasty fight over here, my Landweers has successfully repelled the cavalry assault, and just barely, because they were just this close to actually breaking from this enemy assault. And after these guys ended up disengaging, I decided to pull these Landweers back over here. But it's mostly because my foot guards were indeed over there big time. So yes, the next part of the fighting is obviously going to be downhill, so most of the fighting will be coming by here on the right flank. My Landweers over here are going to actually pitch a fight against the French foes that's going to fight these Landweers in the forest. And I'll tell you this, the Landweers are going to give these guys a very, very hard time holding their ground over here. But as of right now, if you can see the balance of power, it is still in my opponent's favor, because he has actually gained his objective into securing the forest. And now he's going to pour in more and more of his own guys onto the fighting. So now fighting has already begun in the center, and then foot guards are actually telling them, "You cowards! You shall not retreat from the will of the enemy foes." And of course, I do believe these Landweers will come back. A couple of them might actually come back from the fighting. So anyways, yes, using the forest once again, I'm going to be using the forest pretty much to covering up my own troops, pretty much. So yeah, I am temporarily pulling back my own forces, and I am just in a really in a huge pickle, basically. Anyways, right over here, I caught my opponent out on a very terrible position, I'll actually admit it. And then pretty soon, once everyone is in position, they're going to actually, these musketeers will actually take some pot shots out of them. Or no, we're going to actually move in a little closer, because I do realize my opponent has too many units just focusing on that one Landwehr unit. Anyways, another of my own Landwehr just came back from routing, and we're going to I'm going to actually try to see if I can reposition the Landwehr. Yeah, other than that, more and more French forces are actually coming across the hilltop, and they will be determined to breaking my position, because they do indeed have the advantage. So anyways, catching that volley real quickly, my own guys are going to actually take some quick pot shots out of these French forces, and I do believe that is an Old Guard. And I will say that the Old Guard is by far one of the best units in Napoleon Total War. Like, literally the best, because one, they actually have very ridiculous firing rate. Two, the morale is just by far the best of the best. Three, they also have another unique ability of instilling fear on enemy units, mostly because their reputation is very well known. And basically, they're pretty much like the perfect regiment that you would never ever had to ever seen. But yes, my opponent decided to go with a lot of quality. So yes, once again, this will be a quantity versus quality sort of situation over here. Of course, I have upgraded my own Landweers, so they might actually have a little boost with their firing rate and for their own morale. Maybe for their defense. Basically, most of their experience should level them up quite a bit. But anyways, as of right now, there is a lot of shooting going by over here, and basically I'm just shooting these guys across the crosshair, and these old guards are just gonna get chewed apart. Anyways, what is going on? Yeah, I probably must have gotten a couple of my own guys tired. Yeah, right now my opponent has decided to pushing up towards the left flank. But yes, I will tell you this, that the left flank will be the very, very nasty battle indeed. As of right now, there's just like a sort of skirmishing battle, shooting, basically a firefight that's just going by over here, basically. Yeah, as of right now, my Landwehr has not broken. As a matter of fact, their morale has actually finally they managed to actually regain some more morale, already seeing that they are literally picking off a lot of these old guards. And the old guards are just taking heavy losses, as you can see from a couple of dead bodies from their dead brethrens. So anyways, with that being said, we have actually halted the enemy's advance across this position with a couple of my own guys over here. However, now that that side of the battle is going to chill down for a little bit, there's still shooting going by over here. And I'll say elite units does actually have much better equipment, and also they do have an extra range than the regular infantry, basically. Anyways, over here the main firefight is going to begin once the first shots are actually coming by. Now here comes a response from the Landwehrs. Not much shooting, but of course this very reason of how he actually places his own guys is actually very, very nasty, considering that I barely have any cavalry on my end, mostly because I ended up getting a lot of my own cavalry killed from his lances. But as far as it goes, the situation does seem very, very dire on my end, but of course, with enough patience, personally for me, it's important that you guys have got to actually wait for a perfect opportunity, whether the risk of the opportunity is great or it'll end up in disaster. It's actually one of the most important lessons that you have to understand. And honestly, yes, I guess a little philosophy as the fighting is actually starting to increase. Even though you may actually have a small force, which not all the time they would actually be great, but if using them very correctly, you will by far, well, pretty much do very well and pretty much destroying an entire enemy force. Anyways, as you can see, firefighting has already started to increase. These Landweers are not in the best position, considering that my opponent actually has the heights to their advantage, and my guys are also being completely outgunned for like 3 units that's just shooting them like crazy. But yeah, all the firefighting is already coming by. My foot guards are now in range to shooting back towards these guys. Let's get a little cool cinematic view. Got a little mix of some Swiss and some some Swiss and another unit. Swiss and some Polish foots. Indeed. Yeah, there's just a nasty firefight, but of course, as of right now, my Landweers are not in the best morale-like position. And of course, yeah, I readjusted my musketeers to be supporting my own guys. But miraculously, we are actually chewing down a couple of their own guys now. And on top of that, I actually decided to charge in my own hussars. And they're going to actually end up taking the strike against my enemies, pretty much. And also, I just realized the FPS has actually fixed itself much better. Oh, yes, and meanwhile, with his other cavalry, he's going to go an all-out charge. They're going to actually finish the job once and for all. Which, of course, they're going to end up killing this unit. And pretty much this entire flank is going to actually collapse. And yes, I did a very huge risk to actually bring my general here, because mostly they actually give a huge morale booster, but already realizing that his cavalry are already on my side and going for my general, I just finally reacted to it once they touched my general, and I decided to actually start making him running all the way towards to where my reserves are. And of course, my general will miraculously be able to escape from this horde of French lancers. And of course, a couple of my own foot guards will actually come in to be saving the general's booty big time. But of course, good news is, thanks to that charge that I did with one of my own cavalry, that will actually give my own foot guards time to actually pulling back for just a little while longer. And of course, with that square formation, I actually caused them to having my musketeers straight up shooting these guys. So yeah, was the risk pretty big? Yeah, but at least I actually halted the infantry advance. Meanwhile, over here, there's just chaos everywhere coming over here, basically. And now I'm going to actually readjust another of my own foot guards across this fighting, of course. But what can I say? My opponent will not actually let this opportunity go to waste. And of course, being a little beefy, I decided to actually start attacking these guys, whilst having these foot guards shooting right behind my own general. Fortunately for my general, we will be able to, he'll pretty much survive it, basically. So yeah, nothing much on the right flank. The center flank is really quiet, but of course they're going to get picked off by a couple of their own chasseurs. But it's the left flank that's just a nasty fighting. And also, after the foot guards managed to reorganize themselves with some average morale, oh no, some very huge, they managed to regain their morale now. Yeah, they're going to but of course, for some reason, my opponent ended up getting became really disorganized, and I basically took advantage of that. Oh yeah, and then he's going to straight up starting to charge towards my own foot guards. And my foot guards, which they are an elite infantry, has ridiculous firing rate. They're gonna basically mow down the first wave, and they're barely going to they're barely gonna get into melee. Okay, so yeah, they did win to melee, but of course, here comes the second Polish Legion. But coming into the melee combat will be the Old Guard, and they're going to actually straight up fighting these guys. And of course, seeing as though these guys are actually going to pick a fight against my own Old Guard, I'm going to actually flip these musketeers around, and we're basically going to shoot them in the back. And then meanwhile over here, the Fusilier of the line is going to actually pick a fight with another of my own Old Guards, which, in terms, these guys are going to win, mostly because they're in the forest, and they are just going to completely outgun these frontline infantry out in the open. Now, meanwhile, over here, these Landwehrers, who they were actually getting shot up real badly, are going to actually end up completely destroying this regular infantry. A militia, can you not believe it? A militia will basically end up destroying just a regular unit who pretty much could obviously defeat a militia infantry. But as you can see, they were actually charging, not shooting. which, of course, I believe they may have actually gone a little too overconfident. But I will be very, very honest. I thought that I never had this replay, and it was so good, but for some reason I could never find it. But here it is. Anyway, so yeah, there's this nasty melee fight, but in the end, my own opponent will actually lose this melee engagement to my Landwehr. And now his right flank is crippling a little bit, and now my center is will actually become much more confident. Also, meanwhile here, so pretty much already believing that I could actually pick off these. Oh wait, no. So yeah, my foot guards did actually retreat, and I actually charged in with my musketeers. Unfortunately, they're going to lose, because these old guards are really, really tough infantry, which is why I say they are the best infantry in Napoleon Total War. But these musketeers seems to be very not disorganized, very organized in their melee. I ain't gonna lie. Anyways, meanwhile over here, we just routed another of their own infantry, and now France already realizing that they've completely had this flank lost. They're going to actually try to pull back whatever forces they have left. But for some reason, I do not believe he was actually paying attention. His chasseurs are going to actually end up getting shot off by both my foot guards and another of my own foot guards. But as you can see from the balance of power, it actually became slightly more towards my opponent, but now it's slowly but surely swelling back towards me. But the battle could still be in my opponent's favor, so you never know. So yeah, once again, a lot of stuff is parts of the battle is becoming quiet. But yeah, see, these old guards ended up defeating my foot guards, but of course, I can't lie, the foot guards were actually very depleted, and they were dealing with like 3 infantries during the melee and the gun shooting, so I can't deny that. But of course, the musketeers, I really am bummed out that they did lost it. And of course, once again, these old guards are going to successfully kill off my general. So yeah, Patriot is going to die glorious in this battle over here. So yeah, after that simple charge, I believe that may have actually been Patriot. But of course, we ended up routing all these old guards. And also, I actually have one more foot guard in reserve, fortunately. And here comes here comes my musketeers just giving that nasty volley towards these chasseurs, just dwindling down their numbers and just chewing them off so badly. They were out in the open as well. So yeah, it is a very slow retreat that he's going to have. But at the same time, he's trying to regroup his forces. The bad thing is, as he's retreating, I'm basically taking advantage of his retreat. Let's get rid of that. But yes, a heroic death indeed for the general. But yes, his retreat, regrouping his own guys is not a bad idea, but the problem is, when he's retreating, he's basically getting his guys shot off by my own guys. And if you can see the balance of power, it has completely flipped over towards my favor. After killing one of his old guards, it's pretty much going to seal the deal. Anyways, I am having my own general's bodyguard moving in to dealing with these guys because, well, why not? At least I'm going to actually distract the brave infantry, the 18th Regiment, the Brave, holding them down for as much as possible, and then I'm going to actually reorganize these foot guards. Hopefully they're going to be able to get a shot as quickly as possible. Which of course they are going to get a shot. Unfortunately not for a while, because as smart as these guys very smartly are going to just straight up charge towards my own guys. But the problem is these guys are winded, or basically they're really tired. Which, basically, my foot guards will be able to win this engagement. Hopefully. Anyways, I do see that a couple of my own guys has came back from routing, so hopefully they'll reorganize and coming back towards the battle. Also, meanwhile, over here, the French are completely disorganized, and they're just gonna get straight up shot at everywhere. Anyways, I don't know why these guys are actually shooting. Nah, they were just advancing a little bit, but now they've actually pushed up. Yeah, these another set of these old guards are in square formation. I do believe so, just so that they can be able to shoot multiple targets, but they're going to get outgunned extremely badly, and they're out in the open as well, which is even more badly enough. Also, meanwhile, over here, I actually brought in another set of reinforcements from another of my own foot guards or my musketeer, depending who. But yes, we actually excuse me. But yeah, we completely destroyed these the 18th Regiment of the Brave, and now with these guys out of the picture, I'm going to completely move these guys to clearing this part of the map. And as these last remnants of the French forces are going to retreat, it's clear that in the end I have ended up becoming very, very successful. So with the French gone, in the end, it was a really, really nasty battle, but I managed to overcome the situation that will later come into play on the second part of this battle. No, there's no two parts. Unfortunately, speaking of videos, I will only be making one video pretty much. So anyways, as I'm showing the stats and talking to you about it, I do apologize for that, but basically I'm trying to I didn't really get the chance to be making a second video, so I really do hope you guys could actually understand why. But in any other case, guys, thank you guys so much for watching another of my own videos. And then starting next week, I want to actually get back doing some Empire Total War campaigns. So yeah, I want to actually get these two campaigns finished, and then after I'm done with them, I'll get right straight back into some more multiplayer battles. So thank you guys so much for watching another of my own multiplayer battles. Please stay awesome as always, and I will catch you on the next video. As always, dismissed!